I'm recording this at 7 something in the morning, the morning after Gina Carano was allegedly let go, aka fired, from Lucasfilm and Disney. I say allegedly on the very off chance that this is just a rumor, but based on how many news sources are covering this, it's looking true. The only reason I didn't record this last night was because I was so fucking angry and my mind was so all over the place that this would have been nothing but me yelling into the mic. I've had a night and some hours to sit on everything and think about it, get my thoughts more in order, and I'm still mad, but I can better express that anger now. This is what they want for all of us. Make no mistake about it, this is what they want for all of us. The far leftists, the SJWs, the NPCs, whatever you want to call those fuckheads, this is what they want. They have made it so that anyone that speaks on any truth that they don't agree with, those people, the people who disagree with them, they only have two options. Shut the fuck up or get the fuck out. They've been trying to get Gina Carano to shut the fuck up for damn near a year now. First it was about the pronouns and the bio bullshit. They couldn't hound her into putting her actual pronouns in there, so she started to troll them with beep bop boop. Then they tried to cancel her for that. Didn't work. Then it was about the COVID shit. And regardless of whether or not you agree with her opinions on COVID and the state of the pandemic and the quarantine, she has not done anything in the realm of spreading misinformation, trying to tell people not to take their own precautions. She's not done any of that. They tried to get her to shut up about that. Wouldn't work. Then it was about the election. She had the nerve to say that, hey man, maybe all the stuff that went on concerning the election wasn't all on the up and up. Tried to get her to shut up about that. Didn't work. Now we're in 2021, talking about these so-called insurrection. She had the nerve to say that she hopes that people get out of that all right, offering prayers, praying for law enforcement because they're people too, they have families too. Perish the thought. We're humanizing law enforcement. Oh, what brave new world with such people in it. Tell her to shut up about that. Doesn't work. Months upon months of harassment, calling her all the worst things in the book. The force is female, unless apparently you are female who is a free thinker and doesn't bow down to the far left mob and drinks exclusively from the SJW Kool-Aid. I mean, we've seen this with people who aren't even ridiculously famous. I mean, they've been trying to destroy Anna, that Star Wars girl, forever. And lately, it's because she had the nerve to redraw She-Hulk and give her boobs and a softer face that is more akin to what she's been at her core. You know, the character who she actually is, not the Hulk 2.0, but that's a topic for another day. Right now we're talking about how they've been trying to destroy Gina Carano for almost a year, and it looked for a second like she was going to be alright. Now we know that they have bent the knee. Well, I can't even say that Disney bent the knee, because this is how Disney's always been. If it's not taking live action movies that are absolute desecrations of their animated forms, shitting all on that. If it's not filming Mulan in the sketchy ass, suspicious ass location where people are committing actual human atrocities and then thanking those people for it in the credits, that was beautiful. Disney, thank you for that. I loved it. I love seeing my childhood heroes be dragged through the dirt like the way you've done Luke Skywalker, aka Jake Skywalker. You have to make him a fucking loser. You have to make him a hermit who's about to die alone on some fucking random ass planet in the middle of nowhere, all because he sensed his nephew had a bad thought. He thought his nephew thought the bad, so now he has to kill him in his sleep. My mind's still all over the place, kind of, as you can see. But that's because there's so much going on here. Disney has been behind a lot of terrible shit. And then when it comes to Star Wars, they've been employing people and supporting people who are terrible fucking human beings. Justina Ireland, Christina Ariel, racists. Fucking racists. Hate white people. Yes, they do. They do everything except say those literal words. But their jobs are safe because they're the right color. They hate the right white people. So they're fine. Fucking Disney Lucasfilm will support their ignorant asses. condemn the people who are simply calling out their racism. That's what they'll do. But this right here, this goes too fucking far. I've always loved Star Wars, and I'm going to say something that I have not spoken about at great lengths, and that is the death of my mother. I really don't speak a lot about my parents because they're not here anymore. And even though it's been years, it's still hard to talk about outside of very close personal circles, but I'm going to do my best now because I need people to know why I've been writing so hard for Star Wars and why this blow right here hurts so much. I lost my mother in 2014 due to complications from a stroke, basically. My mother and I have had a very strange mother-son relationship. She was extremely nurturing and loving to me, but because of things that happened in her life, she also suffered from things like depression, alcoholism, and the last few years of her life, she basically was a ghost person. She rarely left her room. She didn't socialize. She stopped going to church. The only time she would leave the house would be to go to the store. My dad would always tell me things about how he felt like she was just wasting away, and it broke his heart because they were soulmates. They had been together for 30-something years. Still didn't prepare us for the moment when she left. But despite how, for lack of a better phrase, distant she and I had become later in her life, I still remembered so much of the goodness that we had when I was younger. And one of those nuggets of goodness was her introducing me to Star Wars. I was maybe 5 or 6, and I had seen the episode of Muppet Babies where they did the Star Wars parody. And when I told her about that, and I remember I was talking about Dark Vader, because I told, like I said, 5, 6 years old, I called him Dark Vader. And she said, "Oh no, you mean Darth Vader." And I was like, "Okay, who's Darth Vader?" And then she told me about the real Star Wars, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds really cool." And because I was a huge ass nerd even at then, she had the genuinely big brain idea to buy me the actual Star Wars movie on VHS, and we watched it, and I fell in love with Star Wars. She also had a recorded VHS of The Empire Strikes Back, which she let me watch until I literally broke the tape. Shout out to the 90s. So, not only is she responsible for me loving Star Wars so much, but it's also one of the brightest moments of my childhood, and honestly, one of the only bright parts that I can remember super clearly about our interactions from when I was very, very little. I look at what these fuckheads have done in Disney and Disney Lucasfilms, what they have done to Star Wars, it is fucking criminal. They completely and constantly employ racists, bigots of all stripes, people who are intolerant of fans who are simply offering reasonable criticism. They constantly get on social media. They drag everyone through the dirt. They'll tell you the Force is female, but if you're a female who doesn't agree with their far left bullshit, they'll try to kill you too, socially. They'll cry out for representation and inclusion. But if you're a black person who doesn't agree with how the sequel trilogy did John Boyega, they'll say you're a coon. They'll say you're this, you're that. You hate black people. You hate your own fucking race. They'll say bullying is not tolerated. Racism is not tolerated. So much so that they'll keep running a false narrative about Kelly Marie Tran and how she, quote unquote, specifically left Twitter and social media because of the bullying from the Nazis and the racists and the blah, 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 without offering a shred of evidence for that. All they do is quote an article that misquoted a statement that she had made in reference to Hollywood and culture in general, how it treated her as an Asian American. They won't do shit for Rosario Dawson. The Force is female, but they won't do shit for Rosario Dawson while these people try to destroy her life over fucking accusations that have been baseless about transphobia and charges that have since been dropped by the accuser. And the Force is so fucking female. It's so goddamn female that we have to fire the woman who plays the largest role in the largest Star Wars show ever, and is part of the only reason that Star Wars is not in the dirt, If it weren't for the Mandalorian, Star Wars would have been fucked permanently already. That bought them some time on life support. But this act right here, it has destroyed that life support. Star Wars is dead. I said this in my last video, and I have never been more resolute in this stance. Mark my words. February 11th, 2021, recorded at 7:32 in the morning, said by Animane. Star Wars is dead, and we should not mourn it. Because they have taken someone who is a genuine people's champion, someone who never interacted with fans with anything but love and support, would retweet stuff people sent to her, would follow you back, go on people's channels, have interviews with them, interact with them on Twitter and on Instagram. Someone who championed free speech and free thought. Someone who was trying to inspire people and lift people up with her social media. Someone who would never say anything bad about a person unless they started shit with her. And even then, the things she would say in response would be fucking so light in comparison. She would lightly troll the people who told her that they want her to fucking die. She put beep bop boop as her pronouns in her handle to lightly troll people who were trying to get her fired, trying to come between this woman and her money. She's calling for people to rally around positivity and sharing lightly provocative statements regarding various social issues. Just asking people to think, asking people to use that fucking gray matter that they got rolling around in their head. Which apparently for a lot of people is just they might as well have a fucking meatball floating in a cup of water in their head. Because it'd be about the same use. But that's all she ever wanted to do. Her statement, her fucking so terrible statement that got her fired, was a graphic that talked about how Nazi Germany set the stage for the Holocaust by putting the Jews against each other. Long before the death squads and the concentration camp people came rounding up Jews, the Jews were already hating each other in their own neighborhoods because of the propaganda that the Nazi government had put out, because of the seeds of dissent, the seeds of hatred that they had sown into the Jewish communities. And here's the real gotcha. That's the fucking truth. But they don't care about facts. It's only Disney. Some people are saying that she was stupid for saying that. If there's any stupidity or ignorance on her part, it's in the idea that she could say that and there not be repercussions. But because of the person that Gina Carano is, from all evidence that we have, I don't think it was her being stupid. I think that it was her standing on her beliefs. I think it was her having another moment of, I don't care. I don't care what you do to me. This is the truth, in my opinion, and I am going to say it. I am not calling for hatred. I am not calling for death for anyone. I am simply making a fact, one that is relevant to us today. And if that costs me my job, so be it. Any job that can be lost just simply by talking about the state of the world, that's a job that I don't need. And I agree with her. I'm going to close this out by making a quick connection to this awesome show I've been watching. Y'all may have heard of it. It's called Cobra Kai. Long story short, it's a continuation of the Karate Kid movie series from the 80s. It's like 30-something years later. It's all happening in real time, current day, following Danny LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence as they adjust to being middle-aged men who are dealing with what happened to them and what they did in the Karate Kid series. Danny LaRusso has a lot of success. Johnny, not so much. Not going to get into a lot of details here because it's a genuinely good series. I feel like you should all, if you're not already watching it, you need to go watch it. It needs to jump to the head of your Netflix queue. But without going into spoilers, one of the very harsh truths that the show deals with is the concept of mercy. The concept of doing the right thing even when it's not convenient, even when it's probably going to hurt you. Because Johnny, who now runs the new Cobra Kai's mantra in karate, one of their mantras is no mercy. That the world is a cruel and wicked place, and that you have to be the same way or it is going to kill you. It's going to run you over, it's going to destroy you. Danny represents a more peaceful side of karate that was taught to him by the late Mr. Miyagi. That version of karate is for self-defense only, and it champions inner peace and showing mercy. Again, no spoilers. There's a scene, at least one scene, where a character fully understands that mantra, fully understands that mindset that Miyagi-Do karate is all about. He does the right thing, even though he has every opportunity and even every reason to not be that. He does that, and it costs him severely, puts him in a very, very difficult, painful position. And now he is looking at things much differently, and he is questioning whether or not that was the right move. Again, there's way more that I could say about that, but I'm not going to spoil it. I'll save that for any future review I do of the show. But that moment right there, which I actually just watched yesterday for the first time, perfectly sums up Gina Carano. She did the right thing by speaking out against what she sees as a terrible direction that our culture has been traveling in for a while. She did the right thing by not shutting the fuck up, and she is paid for it dearly. But that does not mean she was in the wrong, and it does not mean that we are in the wrong when we do the same thing. A lot of people have been talking very seriously in the past few hours about canceling their Disney Plus, about not giving a red cent to Disney ever again, and I am in full agreement and support with that. I think we still need to have these discussions, but with them has to be action. We can't afford to just talk anymore. We have to let them know that their precious cancel culture, which they still claim does not exist, it does not work for them the way they think it does. Because they have seemingly gotten their wish in canceling Gina Carano. But all they've really done is cancel themselves. I'm talking right to you, Disney Lucasfilm. Because you are never getting my money again. You are never getting heels versus babyfaces money again. You're never getting Ethan Van Sciver's money again. You're never getting Anna that Star Wars girl's money again. I'm done. They're done. We are fucking done. You've canceled Gina Carano for wrong think. So now we're going to cancel you for actually being a piece of shit. This time next year, Disney Plus, it's going to be in a terrible state. Because I'm done. And I encourage you all to be done as well. If you give a damn about this culture war, if you give a damn about the way Disney's been carrying on, be done with me. Be angry with me. But don't be angry and want to go out here and fucking hurt people. Because that's what they want. They want you to fucking stop thinking and be irrational and full of rage. That's what they do. Don't be like them. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be pissed. Don't listen to these idiots who will tell you, why do you care? It's a celebrity. Why do you care? It's a movie about space wizards and laser swords. No, bitch. This is our fucking culture. These are our modern day myths. These are our heroes. Gina Carano just happened to play a hero and actually is a stand-up ass individual in real life. She used to kick ass for a living. Now she's been kicking ass on Disney Plus. But you fucking monkeys just couldn't deal with that. So you had to try and ruin her fucking life. And if you destroy all the heroes we have like you've been trying to do for the past decade and some change, we'll have nothing to aspire to in our moments of escapism. If that's the world you want to live in, you go right ahead. But don't drag the rest of us down with it. Because this shit ain't over. That's all I got to say right now. I'm Anime. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces. Gina Carano, keep your head up. Stand strong. We love you. This ain't the end.